So for our last video to prepare us for exam 2, 28 through 32 is going to be based on this table that we're given, and then 33 is going to be one more look at creating an inverse function. So we have this function, and our table is given where our inputs are 0 through 5, and then our outputs are f of x is given as -4, -1, 2, 5, 8, and 11. So the first one, very straightforward. It says, what is f of 4? So we say, okay, I'm given an input of 4, so what is my output? Well, I give an input of 4, so my output must be 8. Okay. Now in this case, we're trying to figure out what is the x value that would give us an output of 11. So what input gives me an output of 11? Well, if I look through here, my output 11 is related to my input of 5. So f of 5 equals 11. Okay. And then 30 asks us, over this interval that we're given, is our function increasing or decreasing? Now, the way we judge that is we say, as x is increasing, what is happening to the f of x? So as x is increasing, the f of x is also increasing, so it must be increasing. Now if as our x increased, our f of x decreased, like if we had these numbers reversed, then it would be decreasing. Of course, it might increase and decrease over the range. You could specify, based on the information given, where is it increasing and where is it decreasing. The other question is it one-to-one? Okay. So remember, one-to-one means that if we're given a function, if we're given an input, it always goes to a unique output. So that means for every different input, you get a different output. And in this case, we can see that every input is different from, or every input is different from every other input, and every output is different from every other output. It's okay that one input gets mapped to the same number as an output. That doesn't matter. So yes, this is one-to-one. Okay, and then 32 asks, what is f inverse of 5? Now remember, here we said the input at 4 gives us an output of 8, and that's for the function. The inverse, remember, the inverse maps backwards. So an input of f inverse is an output of f. So this is the same as saying, what value gives me 5? Okay, these two are asking the same thing. So we say, okay, well, 5 maps to 3, so that's 3, or in this form we would say x is equal to 3. So notice that the inverses and the inverse switches the inputs and outputs. Okay, so that being said, when we look at an inverse, we're switching the inputs and outputs. Now if I say that I'm going to call f of x y just to make my notation more simple. So I'm going to change my inputs and outputs. And then I'm just going to go through a quick process of solving for y. So now I can have y in terms of x. So I'm going to add 6, and I'm going to divide. So I get x over 3 and plus 2. And now I'm going to rewrite that as f inverse of x, my new function notation. Okay, and so we made it through the whole exam. Go ahead and try the problems in the practice exam. They're slightly different, but this is very, very similar. The videos that I've done are very similar, so you should have no problem going through that.